Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're taking the absolute chaos of the July 19th, 2026 news cycle and, well, we're distilling it down to connect the dots for you. It's been a wildly intense week of headlines, but honestly, when you look closely at the data, a really fascinating pattern starts to emerge. So think about this for a second. What on earth do $4 gas, artificial intelligence protests, and a record-breaking soccer match actually have in common? Today, we're exploring one massive overarching theme. We're looking at how our vast global systems, things like war, tech, and culture, are suddenly slamming headfirst into hard physical realities. We usually think of these things in the abstract, right? But as you're going to see, they all require real space, real resources, and very real logistics. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Geopolitics and Escalating Costs. To really grasp the sheer scale of what's happening right now, you have to consider this number, 50,000. Following a deadly attack in Jordan that tragically killed 2 American service members, the U.S. has launched an 8th night of retaliatory strikes against Iran. And get this, there are now over 50,000 American personnel supporting a rapidly expanding mission in the Middle East. We're talking base defense, airstrikes, naval enforcement, and protecting commercial shipping lanes. Washington is literally having to move in additional aerial refueling aircraft just to keep these longer operations going. The physical footprint of this conflict is massive, and it's growing by the day. And here is exactly where it hits home for us. Since roughly 1/5 of global oil normally travels through the Strait of Hormuz, these military disruptions are pushing American gas prices dangerously close to that dreaded $4 threshold. A return above $4 a gallon? Yeah. That seriously threatens to weaken household purchasing power, and it could wipe out recent improvements in consumer confidence just like that. So you can see a direct and frankly super frustrating line from high-level geopolitical strategy right down to the physical cost of filling up your tank. Moving right along to Section 2, AI's physical limits and the resource crisis. While global shipping issues are driving up fuel costs, the tech industry is hitting its own massive physical bottleneck right here at home. We're seeing this incredibly stark contrast right now. Over on Wall Street, there's immense digital success. Apple just surpassed NVIDIA in market cap, which really signals a huge shift toward consumer AI distribution. But on the ground, there is intense physical pushback. Take New York, for instance. They've actually proposed a moratorium on new data centers that require 50 megawatts or more. Why? Because local communities are waking up to the fact that a single 50-megawatt facility slurps up as much electricity as 50,000 typical American homes. That is a staggering amount of power. And this pushback is getting organized, too. Over the weekend, coordinated protests hit 125 different locations nationwide. Because, it turns out artificial intelligence isn't just in the cloud. It's actually a massive land use issue. Communities are flat out demanding transparency. They want to know the exact electricity demand, they want strict tracking of water use, transparency on tax subsidies, limits on noise and traffic, and actual guarantees of permanent employment. They aren't just blindly accepting closed-door developer agreements anymore. People are realizing these giant humming data centers employ far fewer permanent workers than a traditional factory would, making those classic promises of job creation ring just a little bit hollow. And all of this brings us to a critical new concept that you're going to hear a lot more about: social licensing. Basically, this is the micro-trend where having the technical capability to create an AI product is only half the battle. Ultimately, public permission determines how widely its physical infrastructure is actually allowed to spread. We are entering a whole new era where water and power are just as crucial as the microchips themselves. The tech industry's next big hurdle isn't proving that people want AI. They actually have to prove to these host communities that building this massive physical infrastructure will make their towns better off. Public permission is quickly becoming the ultimate bottleneck for tech growth. Okay, let's switch gears for Section 3, a shared global spectacle: culture meets reality. After a super heavy week filled with war, extreme weather in Texas, and tense infrastructure disputes, humanity still somehow managed to gather for a massive cultural release valve. Let's talk about the 2026 World Cup final at the New York-New Jersey Stadium. Obviously, Argentina and Spain battled it out on the pitch, but the sheer scale of the event itself was staggering. I mean, you had immense security operations and the attendance of world leaders. U.S. President Donald Trump, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney were all there. With massive watch parties literally filling up cities from Buenos Aires to Madrid to New York, the spectacle proved that the event had grown way, way larger than just a football match. It was really the physical culmination of the most geographically ambitious World Cup ever organized. To wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Everything we've discussed today, the intense military posturing over shipping lanes, the unbelievable energy demands of artificial intelligence, and even the logistics of hosting the world's largest sporting event, they are all completely tethered to hard physical reality. It's like a giant puzzle we're all trying to solve at once. So, as we relentlessly push the boundaries of geopolitics and tech, are we truly prepared to manage the tangible, physical toll it takes on our local communities and our natural resources? Make sure you keep questioning the systems around you. Thanks for tuning in.